Just to get started, Jordan is having a little procedure done on his left thumb that he hurt in the game. We'll put him out a little bit of a while. Hope to have him back at practice next week, and shouldn't miss any regular season time. Sorry.
Which hand?
Left hand.
Did you break that?
No, it's a ligament thing. I'll let him get into the details of it.
Did he hang it on a helmet or something during the game?
Yeah, that last play when you kind of split two guys, I think a helmet just got it.
Well, what did you think of the overall performance in the game Saturday night?
Yeah, I think obviously disappointed in the overall outcome. There's always good performances in there, and there was some good ones, but certainly not enough. And as a team, didn't protect the ball. I thought, again, there were some play style things, particularly defensively, that I liked, but overall not good enough.
Do you expect Jordan to be able to have a regular type of training camp when he does return next week? And if not, what have you just thought of his camp to date so far?
He's had a good camp so far, obviously. I think as he gets back next week, we'll kind of assess where he's at. It's one of those things where I think he'll be back at practice next week, how much he can do leading into that Seattle game. We'll kind of see. It'll be day-to-day a little bit, but you never want any of these guys to be out because you want to be working as a team. And they all need the work, obviously. More importantly, he'll be ready for week 1, and that's the most important thing.
What's the concern level with how it'll affect performance? Last year he had the injury, and so he was slowed visibly, and then it probably affected him all season long. Any concerns with that being the issue with this?
No, I don't think so. I think again, I don't like any of our guys to miss time. I think it's important for all our guys to be out there. It certainly affects performance when you're not out there, but at the same time, I think we'll get him back in plenty of time. And I don't foresee this affecting him, long term at all.
Do you think that plays a part going forward at the preseason of like how much this team will play its starters going forward? Considering you have 2 more games left.
Yeah, I think that's kind of remains to be seen. We'll kind of see when he gets back Wednesday, and then how it looks next week. So we'll see.
He was handing off kind of with not the wrong hand, but the hand that he normally wouldn't at practice.
Right.
You don't foresee that being an issue come
I
the regulars?
don't. No. Mm-mm.
Coming up on a year since you made the trade for Malik Willis, just how much growth have you seen from him during that time on the field, but now also in support of Jordan in his backup?
Yeah, again, he came in, last year and kind of hit the ground running, did a great job. I think, where he sits now having a full off season with Matt and his staff, he's certainly, so much further along, not only, in his play, but then in, just how he affects the room as well. So really good addition to our quarterback room.
Hey, Goody, going back to Kyle's question, I don't know, were you in Pittsburgh in 2015 when Jordy tore his ACL against the Steelers?
I was not there, no.
I keep hearing Ted's voice saying bubble wrap, right?
Yeah.
How do you wait? I mean, this is the kind of stuff that is the risk of playing the guys that matter so much in games that don't count. How philosophically, how are you going to weigh this?
Yeah, it's a tough balance, but at the same time, the goals we're trying to accomplish require work, right? And you got to play. I think every team's a little bit different in that regard, but I know this particular team, in my opinion, needs to play together. So the more reps we can get, I think the better. Again, I think injuries are going to happen. That's part of this, and we have to be able to adjust and still move forward, and we will. But whenever guys miss time, it's never positive. But it's part of the game, and we're all used to it. And other guys, it creates opportunities for other guys. And when that happens, particularly in the preseason, I think sometimes that's nice to see because a guy will step into a role where maybe he's going against guys he doesn't usually go against, and that's helpful for evaluation. It's I stood next to Ted a long time where. When there was a chance of lightning for that first game, I had him in my head. He's like, oh, maybe they'll cancel it. You know what I mean? Like, that's exactly what he would have been thinking, And, no, I'm excited for our guys to have a chance Thursday and Saturday to kind of rebound from last week's performance.
So obviously he gets hurt on Saturday and he practices yesterday. What was the discussion between the end of Saturday to where you got to now?
Yeah, again, I think he had some options, with what he could do. Obviously, I mean, you guys saw him out there. I mean, he certainly was able to function. But as we looked at all the options, and he did as well, the best option I think for him to get back, the fastest and feel the best was to do this. And I think he wanted to go out there yesterday to kind of see how it felt. And once we got through that, we made the decision, and he should be, back. He should meet us in Indy on Wednesday.
Do you expect McKinney back for week 1?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
How are Jordan's spirits? How's his spirit? How's he feeling?
Good. I mean, you guys know him. He's pretty level, and he's a pretty positive guy. I mean, obviously frustrated because he's going to miss a little bit of time. He doesn't like that, but I think obviously he's very smart, and as we walk through this decision, I think he made a really good decision to have this done and get back quicker.
What do you think of the, you've been through a lot of camps, what do you think of the overall health of your team at this point compared with last year? I don't know if you've gone back and looked through data.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's pretty similar, as it was last year. Again, any injury kind of irks you and just, frustrates you, but at the same time, when you know it's coming, it's part of it. I think Matt and his staff have done a really good job of kind of taking the pulse of our team and kind of knowing when to push, when to back off. And again, we got really 4 really important touch points here over the next 10 days or so that are going to be really important for this football team. So I think we're ready for that. But yeah, I think it's been pretty similar to last year.
Do you judge it more by quantity of injuries or whether there are, ACLs and Achilles and stuff like that?
Yeah, I mean, I think you look at it all, but I mean, I don't think we've had a ton of, over the last couple of years, I don't think we've had a ton of those season-ending type injuries, maybe 1 or 2, but, with the soft tissue stuff is the stuff we monitor more than anything because we feel there's a little bit of controllables in that, But the rules the way they are today with the amount of times you can be in pads and things are just different than what it used to be. So the balance of just trying to stay healthy and callous into your team for the season and coming ahead is tough.
Goody, I know there wasn't a lot of great stuff on Saturday night, but it looked like Jordan Morgan played pretty well. How encouraged were you by what you saw from him?
Yeah, I think he's had a really good camp. Played really well in family night, and I thought he even upped at the level in the preseason game. So, again, he's a young player that, still, he's got his best football is going to be ahead of him, and he's still working on some things. But I thought he played really well. I thought, quite frankly, there's a few guys on the offensive line that played pretty well. Again, as a team, it didn't show up as much as we would have liked it, but I thought there were some pretty good individual performances. I think the biggest thing, and I'm sure Matt hit on it, is just some of the controllables. Some of the mental errors and things we can control pre-snap that I think we got to clean up a little bit.
What do you thought of the camp that Lucas Van Ness has had so far?
Yeah, no, he continues to sack days and he's productive and he's been really, really consistent. I'm excited for kind of what he's going to bring to us this year.
Do you think any improvement is just speaking of thumb, just being able to play with 2 hands right now?
Yeah, and I think it's just a natural growth from him. I mean, I know you guys have all followed, kind of the amount of reps he had in college when he came into this league. And I just think, I think DeMarcus has done a fabulous job with that entire group and with the way they're playing. And, again, excited for what he's going to be able to do for us this year.
I think it was at the Combine, you said you expect Christian back around midway through the season. Mm-hmm. Has the progress he's shown altered that timeline at all for the better for you guys?
I mean, it's tough because when you see him run, I'm sure you guys have seen him run too, like it's kind of like, you want to throw him out there right now. But there's a kind of a timeline with these ACLs, and we're certainly, he's ahead of the curve, no doubt about it. But at the same time, he's got a long career in front of him, so we're gonna make sure that we do the proper steps. We don't skip any steps along the way. But I think more than likely he'll start the year on PUP. But when after that 4th game, when he's I'm sure he's gonna be chomping at the bit. It's gonna take a lot of us to hold him back.
Is Is time running out for Oliver and Williams?
I don't think so, no. I mean, again, missing this amount of time is tough, particularly on rookies. But you know, hopefully, you know, particularly with Oliver, hopefully we can get him out there before camp ends and kind of see how he might be able to help us. Williams is probably going to be a little longer than that. So.
During this camp, Matt was asked kind of a vacuum in the seat backing up Josh Jacobs, and he said, Josh Jacobs. You know? So, you know, do you think you got somebody there that seems like it could be an open competition for those 2 and 3 spots?
Well, certainly with Emmanuel Wilson and Chris Bucks, we've got 2 established players that have proven their abilities in this league. Certainly we want to get Marshawn out there. Hopefully, I think this week we're going to get him out there. That'd be nice. See what he can add to the group. But no, I mean, I like the competition there. I like the kind of they're kind of a diverse skill set between all 4 of them, you know. And yeah, and I'm very comfortable with that group. I'd like to get some of them back out there. You know, obviously Emmanuel has missed some time and Marshawn, but it'd be good to get those guys back out there.
When you're evaluating the roster and making those decisions, how do you weigh kind of the different practice environments, pads, no pads, joint preseason, and just the ebb and flow that individual performances might have over these 4 or 5 weeks?
Yeah, I think everything matters. I mean, even the non-practice stuff, you know, how you're working in the building, you know. We actually had Billy Turner in here today talking to our group, and you know, he just, you know, kept talking to these guys about, you know, doing the bare minimum. You know, it isn't going to get you anywhere in this league, and I think that's the thing. You know, with young players coming in, and I think most of the vets kind of understand this, that you know, you got to take advantage of all the resources that are here to be a good player. And I think for us, that's part of the evaluation as well, what they're doing in this building and how they're handling themselves and studying and taking care of their bodies. But for me, it's always been, you know, the preseason games and now these joint practices where the level of competition is amped up a little bit. And quite frankly, in the preseason games where these guys have to make decisions out on the field without, you know, breaks in between each snap when they're tired. So those things matter to me, you know, and they always weigh a little bit more.
You had Hale as your IPP player last year, but he kicked in college, right? How did you kind of take us through how McNamee ends up here from your perspective as a team and scouting him and everything?
Yeah, well, certainly our pro staff does a really, really good job of monitoring all the international players. There's a couple, you know, areas where they get to see those guys live. You know, in the combine, they kind of have a combine from the specialist perspective, and then down in South Florida, they usually have a day where a lot of the international players are, and obviously we scout that. So we're keeping tabs on all those guys. Unfortunately, when Hale got the eye injury, he wasn't going to be able to kick for us for a little while. It was important for us to try to kick every day, and so we wanted to have 2 kickers. And he was one of those guys that had been on our radar, and because he's an international player, gives us the extra spot, so it just made some sense.
How have you seen Matthew building kind of since being in the building here in his rookie year?
Yeah, I mean, I think he's, you know, again, for a third-year player coming out of college, I think he's done a really good job of just adjusting to our culture here. His work habits have been excellent, and he's one of those rookies that has made 1 or 2 plays every day that, you know, when you start to see that, the consistency of that, there's a lot of history here that those guys make it and are pretty good players in this league. Again, I think he's just scratching the surface, and he's still learning, you know, quite a bit. But he's made plays when he's had the opportunities to make plays, and that's a good sign. And again, I think certainly a lot more out there for him, and you know, he's working hard to try to get to those next places.
Hey Goody, I know it was just 1 quarter on Saturday night, but how valuable is it for a guy like Golden to line up across from Sauce Gardner for a handful of plays? I mean, in his first NFL action.
Yeah, I mean, I think particularly for young players, but all players, I mean, every snap that you have is valuable to learn something from, whether it's good or bad, you know, and, you know, I think particularly when you haven't seen things, this is the first time you're seeing things, you're going to grow from it. Some players grow faster than others, it's just the way it goes, but I think it's always about trying to see things for the first time, learn from it, and try to get into a comfort zone so you're not thinking. And once you get into that comfort zone, usually their true talents kind of come out. So
I'm only using it as an example, but how do you weigh couple preseason games versus like a career, like, and I'm gonna get, this is just an example, but like Hardman's had a really good career as a punt returner, had a bad night the other night. How do you do those things in the grand scheme of picking your options?
Yeah, I mean, guys that have done, significant things in this league, like Mecole has, and other players, I mean, there's that matters, you know what I mean? They've been in the fire, and not that you want those things to happen in preseason. I think if you evaluate it as something that is a trend, that's continuing to happen, and we've seen it all camp, certainly that would say that, but we really haven't seen that. So it wasn't obviously a great night for those instances for him, but he's done a lot of really good things in camp for us, certainly in his career he has. So certainly what a guy's done in the past, it certainly matters.